Ladies, gents, here we are for some analysing teams. We've got 12 to go through. I hope this helps heading into round 16 and then round 17 as well. We'll be speaking about those two rounds and potentially a little bit around some of the amounts of players you've got heading into 17. And then, in terms of your guns as well, I'm assuming there'll be a few questions around that. So this one here, we got sub to Moodoo Gaming with 9 trades remaining, which is not a bad position, sitting in 405th overall, 103k in the bank, and we've got a little toxic relationship going on here with Mr. Payne Haas, and he wants to break up. So completely understand that. We see him actually get named this week, which is very interesting, and wasn't expected after the injury that obviously he suffered. And he's just such a trooper. He just keeps playing through it. But the main issue here now is he's obviously hemorrhaging some cash, and with him potentially getting around that same score, if he does play this week, missing round 17, do you trade him out now with that 9 remaining and obviously the 4 that you get in round 20, and then potentially bring him back at like a 620 or 630? You can definitely do that. Like I can see in this team, obviously you got King and Elliott on the bench there as well to go along with all the gun mids and edges that you currently have. I think that it's possibly that you could do that. For sure. All right, what's the next chat? I'm a part of the hashtag Jamie Show Dem Guns movement, and I'm proud to have started it on your channel. Is this Jamie's Guns officially? Maybe. I hope so. Since round 13, I went from rank 1500 up to 400, which is amazing. So thanks for the advice. I'm just holding Burton and Teddy. Oh yeah, awesome work there. Got 5 cashies, which isn't great. Who should I play fourth out of them? I think with this one, Ezra could do pretty well this week. I think Karaz is obviously a solid one as well, and then Xavier. My only worry with Xavier this week is that he has C and K on the bench. So I think Karaz, with how good the dogs are going, or Mam, so flip a coin between those two. You potentially don't have Payne Haas playing either. Not sure how to get the likes of Murray, Cook, DC, or Munster in. Yeah, so you're going to have to downgrade. You obviously have the 1 cash out at the moment. There's going to be probably 2 more spaces for that. So you've got 200 to 250k that you can get out of Kola, Karaz, Xavier Savage as well, potentially over the next few weeks. And then you can upgrade some of the likes of Ewan Aiken and these types of guys. Obviously with Ewan, the news of him being a centre, he could be one that you could eventually trade up and use some other guys in that centre position. Obviously like Burton, you could bring back down to that centre position, for example. Never sold Lolo. Hashtag holding on clutch. Nice work. Who should I get for round 17? Because I'm not sure I have enough round 17 players. So just the guns that we're looking for. A couple of Parramatta players, which you don't have at the moment, other than Penasini and... Reedy Penasini and Paps. Potentially get one more in like a Madison if he comes through after his small injury that he's gathered this week. There aren't too many guns, so a couple of cash outs would be ideal. Like I spoke about, trading down to those guys and playing with 8 to 10 would probably be the way to go this week. Could I move Hines to half and buy To'o or buy Moses/Brown then sell to someone else? Yeah, you could definitely do that. If you want another player for 17, then that's fine. You do have a fair few trades remaining, so you could play around with that. I think could be the ideal way to go about it there. But yeah, you and Aiken are potentially one to trade out eventually. Haas, if you want to play with that one. And then King, Elliott, these types of guys over the next few weeks we could think about and go from there. But a couple of cash outs with those mid-range guys that have made a decent amount of cash for you would be the way to go. All right, let's move to number 2. Tuivasa Shrek, just spoke about this one a few times. Sitting at 1500th overall, 10 in the bank. Plans to make 2 trades this week. Ilias to Will Kennedy. Yeah, a few people have been speaking about Kennedy. I'm just worried about the low scores that he could produce. Sharks aren't playing incredibly well at the moment. He's doing his thing, but without, it's showing in the fantasy world. Unfortunately, Butcher's one of the ones to definitely go. You could bring in Carrigan, Big Puppy. Yeah, if he starts. We got Hughes or DCE. Both great options. I think Hughes, obviously the cheaper price point, could be a decent way to go. But you probably, if he doesn't do as well, you might have to change him up there. Unfortunately, Colin Matungi is a spicy underpriced guy. He's definitely a pod. If you feel like you want 1 or 2 in your side, then you can go for that. But just be aware that he might not be a keeper long term. Is Elliott looking like a keeper? If he keeps the minutes, I think he's a keeper, and it's probably smart to hold on steady with him, but just leave a trade or 2 up in the bank to potentially move him on. Karaz and Kola move on in round 17? I think so, but we'll have to see what's happening with Karaz. If he keeps scoring super well, then he could be one to keep and ride a little bit more cash, and then probably trade him down in around 18, 19, 20. Cole, I think that he's going to be peaked fairly soon, so he could be one to move on. I think he'll definitely impact Aiken's scoring, which I spoke about in the last video, so he could be someone to upgrade eventually as well. Looking to get like a Matty Burton, I think would be ideal. Penasini is definitely a borderline keeper, so I'd be holding him for the near future. and go from there to us. So you've obviously got, plenty of trades in the bank, so you can play around a little bit. You've got a few guys like Ramsey making cash, so he's done really well for you, for example. All right, let's move to the next one. Ram it up, yeah. Ranked 910, 9 trades in the bank, 91k. Overall thoughts on the team for the run home? Trades, Butcher to DCE, Tungot to Volkman. Okay, if you're not too worried about both of those guys not playing 17, then that's fine. In terms of those trades, you're getting a gun in DCE and you're trading 2 mid-rangers with Butcher and Tungle, with Volkman coming in and potentially making a little bit of cash for you would be ideal. So you've already made those 2. Cool, so you had 11 before this. I think you can play around with that, man. And if you want to trade fairly heavy next round in round 17, then that would work out okay. Overall thoughts on the team. You've got 2 cheap guys now with Rushton and Volks. Aiken could be one to potentially look at moving on. You do have Burton in there, so maybe another half could be ideal. You do have DCE. Maybe a third half could work out great, but you do have, obviously, Heinze and Burton. Aiken and Penasini is solid. You've got Grant up top, which is nice. Potentially trying to get Cook at some point. You've got Murray in there. Awesome. Team's looking pretty good, man. Wing fullbacks, sitting with Karaz and Savage. It could be, trying to upgrade to another gun wing fullback at some point, but overall, plenty of trades in the bank. Team's looking pretty good for Ram It Up, yeah. Renegade Pan in the house, loving the video, thanks mate. Not really sure where to go from here. Wanted to push hard for round 17 since I still have the 12 trades. Good idea. But unsure what guns cash out's the target. So plenty of Eels guys. You got Clemmer in there already. You potentially go for a Frizzell or something if you want to go for a Knights player. I think it's ideal. In terms of the Eels guys, probably staying away from Reedy. You could go for a Mitchy Moses and something like that. He's going to be that up and down type of player, which could work out okay. You've got Penasini, Garrick in there. Like the squad, man. Looking pretty solid. And then a few cash outs. You've got a lot of expensive guys, a lot of mid-range and stuff. So you can downgrade a couple in round 17 for guys that are going to get you like that 20 or 30 and provide you some cash to upgrade. Sitting at 312 overall rank, you're doing really well. And you can tell that this team's got plenty of team value, which is great. So yeah, I've actually been improving a lot. Pain in the ass. Good stuff, man. Great work over the last few weeks. All right, team 5. Sowie Screamers. All right, head-to-head team coming 4th in a close league. Thoughts and trades this week. Cotter to Grant. Solid. Tungo to Fogs. Okay, Fogs is going to be an interesting one. Just be aware that I got Whiten back. Butcher to Tamalolo. I think that's solid, but what I'd be looking at if you're head-to-head is trying to get the best of the best in each position. Okay, so I don't know if Lolo is the best in his position. I don't think Fogs is anywhere near the best in his position. And Harry is, okay? One of 2. So that's the thoughts I'd be going off. The other one here could have gone Butcher to Cook. I think that's a great option. Grant's obviously a good one as well. Tungo to DCE or Butcher to Murray. So looking at those types of guys, the DCEs and the Murrays, you've already sorted that out with the types of guys. If you're a head-to-head team, you want the best of the best in each position that you can for the next few weeks and heading into the final teams, obviously. All right, and we're needing to milk a number of cows and upgrade Harris, King, Havili, May in future weeks. That's right, so you can downgrade, upgrade, but the issue is there. You've used 3 trades this week already. I think that's okay. And then you can downgrade those guys and upgrade and probably leave you a couple of trades for injuries in the run home. I think it's the way to go. Up the Warriors. Keep up the awesome work, bro. Thank you very much. Thanks for sending in your team. Really appreciate it. The 333k in the bank, I think you can use that for the other guns instead. All right, Storm Cyclone. First time setting in my team. Also first year playing fantasy. So wondering how high up I can go overall. Yeah, really nice, man. 5962, 8 trades remaining and the 4 to come with 281 in the bank. Pretty solid setup at the moment. Tino's a very interesting one. He's been really, really good lately. Barnett's in there. Lukey Garner, I think you've got a little bit of time with him, a couple of weeks before you move him on. After round 17, you got Joey Manu, Garrick. We're going to need a little bit of improvement in the fullbacks, I would say. So looking at Teddy, Pappenhausen, these types of guys over the next bunch of weeks would be ideal there. You just got Howarth as a 1 cash out, which is fine. So 1 or 2 of them additions over the next few weeks is cool. Looking to possibly move Tungo and Butcher this week. Low on round 17 players like everyone else. Think of Frizzell, Murray, IPAPS, Paps, if a late inclusion. Yeah, I think IPAP's a good one to pick up. Frizzell, solid as well. Kennedy, Palacina's not a bad one. Got Garner for Walsh a couple of weeks ago, which hurt, but with 8 trades remaining, I might have to hold Garner all the way, I'm assuming. I think he's one you could downgrade or upgrade in the next few weeks when he makes a tiny bit more cash, and you can move him on from there. But that's a solid one, Stormy. Thank you for that. Sugar the Bowls. How good are these names? 4,000 overall rank, 215k in the bank, 12 trades. So awesome setup here. We got head-to-head only. And again, looking in this one, just looking to bring in as many guns as possible. Hughes could be a cut price keeper, but just be aware that he might still only score okay, like he has been. Carrigan's obviously a top tier mid, which is great. So they're great options. Aiken named a centre does make him more sense to trade him out over Tungo. I still think Tungo first. They both don't play 17, so he's coming off a lower score than what Ewan's been. So I think unless you need that extra cash this week to trade Aiken first, then I'd go Isaac over him this week and kind of work it out from there. Would probably be my best thoughts there, Shugs. In terms of the rest of the squad, it's looking really solid. Obviously, you got Tamari Martin, Billy Smith, and Trebojevic. The only kind of issues there, you might have to, with the extra trades, downgrade one of them to a 220 just to give you some extra cash to upgrade elsewhere. But that's my general thoughts there. And you're probably going to need to bring in another half. Would be the way to go here. All right, for you to go now. 4 more left. We got a overall rank of 2,400, 110 in the bank, 11 trades. Good stuff, Parabeast. Should I just trade out Butcher? I think so, yes. Who should I bring in for under 711 if I just trade out Butcher? I can't believe Payne Haas is under 711. My issue with that one is the fact that there's not a lot of clear options heading into round 17 that are under that price. So you could look at guys like Frizzell, obviously Mitch Barnett as potential options. But if you can do a downgrade elsewhere to get one of the top guys, then that could be solid. You don't have IPAPS. You could potentially try and get him next week, whether you got a cheaper guy this week, and then IPAPS when he's a little less expensive in round 17 could be ideal. Also kind of considering trading out Haas or Tohu. Should I do it or wait? Haas is probably the closer one to a trade out. I think Tohu is too cheap now to be considered as a trade out. He's almost bottom out, I think, and has the potential to get 50s again. Currently have 8 potential players playing in round 17. I think that's pretty solid, man. It's only, if you get to about 10, 11, that would be ideal. And then looking to build your final 17. Kind of tempted to play Karaz, Savage, Mam, and Rams this week on my bench. Should I do it or play it safe? It's up to you, man. You're sitting 2400th overall. If you want to go for it, risk it a little bit, try and get in the 2000s. Sorry, in the thousands, for example. Or, you could miss out with them and they could get 20s for you and you go back up. So that's the slight worry. Wait for Lil Pappy. Haas will be in the starting side and Tohu will be benched. That's fine. Who shall I look to target in the next 2 weeks? Yeah, anyone I've spoke about in that previous video with Scoop is ideal. And a couple of those Knights guys, a couple of those Eels guys, and then some of the cash outs that I think apart from Russell, you haven't really got any at the moment. So the Palacias, people are speaking about Kennedy, but we'll work out who's named next week would be the best way to go about it. Yo, JB, how's it going? Doing really well, mate. Appreciate it, Bathurst Bandits. Seen you in your plenty. 2,032 overall rank, 12 trades as well. Big week ahead. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the side. Plenty of team value. Awesome. All right. Kiri, that's the only annoying one. Is he a trade out? I think potentially. With them not playing 17, I think that's the way to go. Kiri to Hughes, Butcher to Cook, Haas to Volkman. All solid. If you're head-to-head, they're great. Obviously, you get 2 of those guys aren't playing. That's probably the only stressor there. But if you're not too stressed about 17, then they're obviously solid trades. Hughes comes in as playing in round 17. Aiken are possibly now due to being moved to centre. You can give him a week, man. He can definitely score a try or 2 and do well. He's done that before. He's averaged mid-40s. If it's a better combo of trades for me this week, what do you reckon? Cheers, mate. Legend as always. Thank you. All right. Butcher needs to go as it is. I think you're pretty well set with those trades, man. You got To'o. Just building to that final 17 is going to be a great way to go about it. Last 2, Nathan's Blinding Lights. Nice overall rank. 7 trades in the bank. 120 left over. Butcher plus Gola to Kennedy and Farmanu Brown. Yeah, it's going to give you a lot of money, but I don't think that's a good one. I think you can trade out Butcher just for one of them. If you want to take a punt on Brown, I think that's fine. Kennedy, you don't need to bring in at least until next week at a minimum. I just feel like he's a waste at the moment. Elliott's not a must-have. If you own him, you're probably holding him. Max can potentially sell next week, but let's wait on that. Elias to sell this week or hold for 17. I think he's probably a sell, but you do have 7 trades, so you could, I think, holding him and keeping him for 17 could be ideal. Opinion on these options: Grant, Madison, Frizzell, Paps, Murray. I think Murray's the clear must-have eventually. Madison as well, and then Grant, Frizzell, then Pap. We can wait a week or 2. So that's my general thoughts around this team, Nath. I hope that helps you with that. And one more to go. Whoops. All right. Black Pasta. 68 overall. Good stuff, man. Looking at making big moves this week to help create my final team for the home stretch and a strong round 17 team of 9 to 10 players, hopefully. Love that. Definite trade-outs, Tungo and Butcher. Possible trade-ins, Barnett, McInnes, Frizz, Tuolangi. I think you wait on Tui. Frizz could be a solid one this week. I'd probably go him as number 1 option. Would be ideal. And yeah, Butcher's a great one. And Tonga, who do you think I should trade out? Yeah, those are the guys to move on. Lockie Ilias potentially as well. But he could, yeah, it's like, do you trade him out now? You try and do that. I don't know if Tuolangi's the man. Might be Palacia. He seems an interesting one. He's going to play next week and might get some bigger minutes. I think you're bringing in either IPAP or Matto next week, as both have high BE. Yeah, probably IPAP. We don't know how I'm going to field a good round 17 team with limited players to trade out. Yeah, that's the thing. With a lot of the mid-range guys, Max King, Elliott's, these kind of guys doing really well. It's hard to actually trade them out. But I think you can have a bit of a couple of trades this week, splash it up in round 17 and do a really good job. That's that video, guys. I hope that really helped everyone with their strategies heading into the next few weeks. Obviously, the 12 teams that I went through, I wish you all the best of luck, and let me know in the comments if you're happy with my suggestions. If there's any further questions, I'll be able to answer them as well. But I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and we'll catch you in the next few videos. We've got the trades to talk about. I'm going to do one about, clearly just a quick one about the guys to pick up as well. Potentially some cash outs and stuff that you could do this week rather than waiting next week as well. As I said, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Catch you in the next one. See you later.